Spontaneous salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to You Saurious. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to episode 4 this evening, and I'm very excited to bring on a very special guest this evening. I am joined by Mari this evening. Say hello to the audience, Mari. Welcome to the Saurian family.
Hey everyone, thanks for having me.
All right, so I was pretty excited when you had reached out to me. It's something that I've been looking to, someone I've been looking to have onto the show is voice actors, and this is a great way to get the ball rolling with branching out and meeting all kinds of faces in the community. And this is really exciting, and I feel that both of us have a little bit of the jitters tonight. Can I say that
Yeah,
safe?
I'm feeling it. Yeah, just a little bit.
All right. So, what I want to start off by asking you, Mari, is how long have you done voice acting? How long have you done it as professionally?
So technically I started back in 2016 with voiceover. I was a theater kid growing up until I hit high school, and my high school competition for fine arts was just insane. Like 200 kids would audition for the spring musical, only 60 of them would break it. I was always part of the majority that would get cut. And I knew I wanted to do something with acting, but I'm not a fan of makeup. I don't like things touching my eyes. So like I didn't like mascara, like eyeliner, wearing stuff like that as a theater kid. And I discovered a website called Casting Call Club, and I started posting things on there with a phone that was yay big with like a horrible mic quality.
Ah,
And
the good old days.
oh yeah, and I just, I booked my first ever role with that tiny phone microphone. I was an anti-hero in a Lego Nightwing series. That was how I started kicking off. And then yeah, just I started getting more and more roles, and I started doing my own projects. So like I would get on Casting Call Club and I would post my own stuff for random projects I have there and there. And then once I hit college, I took a little bit of a break, and then started back in, like, I think maybe 2021, 2022 is when I started back, and then I've been doing it ever since. So
And now look where you are today.
yeah.
So is there any points along the way where you felt as though um where did you really feel your confidence really take the wheel and be like, you know what? I really want to settle back into this after taking a bit of a break. What reeled you back into doing this crazy stuff?
I think what really brought me back into voice acting was the fact that the community is very supportive of each other. I've made some of my best friends through voice acting, especially because of online opportunities. You can work with people all over the world. I have friends all the way in Europe. I actually met one of them last summer in person because we were in that area, and he came over and we met for the first time in real life after about maybe 2 years of friendship. And we met all the way in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And I'm from the Chicago area, so that was pretty cool to be able to meet a voice actor from halfway across the globe. Um, and I've met up with several voice acting friends at conventions they all come over to the Chicago area. We spend a weekend together. So I've met some of my best friends through this, and and like I said, with the fact that online gives us so many more opportunities to work with so many different people, and crossing several time zones. Even we could be in the same cast as someone from all the way in Australia or whatever. I've had friends from Australia who do the same thing as me. And I could just easily call one of them up and say, "Hey, I'm working on this. Do you think you could send me like a quick 2 minute voice line for this?" Like, "Oh, sure, no problem. Send it to me next day, or whatever." Um, but just especially, there's a few online voice actors I have met. One of them, his name's Sean, and he kind of took me under his wing after a little while, because I had asked him to help me with a demo reel that I wanted to make. And he's like, "All right, I'll write you the script, I'll give you the live direction." I said, "All right, how much do I got to pay you?" And he goes, "Nothing. Just give me, like,
Oh,
an
sweet.
hour of your time, and I'll help you make this thing, because you're like a little sister to me." And so we made the demo reel. That's actually my first ever character demo reel I ever made. Was a project that he and I worked on together. And just yeah, just the friendships you make, and you really feel like family. Because like someone could post something on Twitter like, hey, times are rough right now, I need money, and then people will be donating money to you. Like it's that kind of supportive community compared to a lot of other communities I've been a part of, who just kind of, if something's going wrong, they either bash you for it or just give you utter crap. So it's amazing.
And we don't got time for all that negativity. We gotta times are tough enough as is. So it's really
Yeah.
nice to find that pocket of the internet where you feel welcomed, included, and no matter how goofy you may be, that is nothing to everybody. It's like, yes, please, we want more of that in our circle. Please.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And it's so cool that your friend did that for you. I did give your character reel a listen, and it was super work, by the
Yeah,
way, if I may
actually, I can
say.
show you this. This was at a convention I went to last December. That was the guy that I made the demo reel with. Oh, there we go. This guy here, and then that guy was from all the way from San Diego, and he came to Chicago for the first time. And he's like a little brother to me, and we all met up for a weekend, and we're actually going to be seeing each other again Labor Day weekend, this year. So it's crazy. People
It's
go to great
awesome.
lengths to see each other. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially I know that I speak for myself. I know that a lot of times growing up, I always had this conception of if I ever wanted to do these crazy fun voices for all these animated characters and for video games that I may
Yeah.
play, I always had this preconception of, well, I'd have to go to LA, I'd have to
Hmm.
be a professional, I'd have to be in
Yeah.
a big fancy studio with all kinds of executives around me. But ever since the pandemic hit, it
Hmm.
totally flipped everything on its head and allowed for anybody to take the opportunity to be a voice actor and do it right in their own homes and little closets. I remember doing some of them in.
Yeah, this is literally like a portable closet from like a $15 portable closet from Walmart that I just lined with curtains and moving blankets, and I've recorded 2 demos in here. So so
It it, it
just
doesn't take
anything.
much.
Yeah, just anything to keep the reverb down, whatever it takes. Like you I think I only spent about $50 in here trying to get everything right. So
Hi, flexing. I like it, Mari. I like it. And also the lighting that you have going on in there is very flashy. I like it. I mean,
and then we
come
got,
on.
oh, I love it.
Come on,
Whoa,
everybody. Is
whoa,
that
okay. Sorry, flash warning there. Flash warning there. Sorry, my bad. I hit the wrong button on that one.
Dang it, I didn't have a chance to get the glow sticks out. I was all ready to start a rave up in here.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Oh, but it's so cool how the voice acting has become more accessible to
Yeah,
anybody, that it's not so limited in the kinds of people that can get involved these days and the connections that it makes, as you were talking about before, all the people that you've met from all around the world.
yeah,
That's awesome stuff.
yeah. It's crazy. Just one quick story. I had a project in I think last semester, where I had to talk about a discourse community, and I had to write a whole project about it. And I decided to talk about voice acting and advocating for like remote recording for anime, because a lot of times with anime you have to be in the studio because it's just easier that way. It's easier for the audio engineers and everything. I reached out to maybe 20 of my favorite voice actors. 12 of them wrote back, which
Oh,
was huge. And I actually, one of
yeah.
them was actually a guest at a convention I went to last year. He remembered who I was when I said my name, and he's just like, "Oh my god, is that you?" And I was like, "Oh my, like how that's me." And he gave me a hug and was all it was Kiba Walker. He's a big name in the
Get
anime
out of
industry.
town.
Yeah.
Oh
That
my
was
God.
huge. Like he gave me a hug and he was like, "Oh my gosh, how are you? How did the project go?" I remember Yeah, because I was like, "Do you remember a name girl by the name of MariSkyVA?" And he's like, "Oh my gosh, is that you?" And I'm like, "Yep, that's me." Here it is. Here's me and Kiba.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
I know, and
you're.
I love the cosplay you got going on there. I like it. I like it.
Yeah. So I was freaking out that he remembered who I was, and that was crazy. But just I interviewed Christian Lamont, who's the voice of Ignatz in Fire Emblem Three Houses. He's
Love that
also
game.
I
Love
forget
it.
he's the voice of like a silent protagonist for some other game. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I interviewed a lot of people from the anime Blue Lock, which is like a soccer anime. I interviewed a lot of people from that one, and it was all like Zoom interviews too. It wasn't just like a lot of them, wrote out answers, through a text and then sent it to me that way. Like people like Sean Chiplock did that, which was huge that I got to reach Sean Chiplock.
Dang.
Um, but the fact that a lot of the VAs took time out of their day to you know talk to me for like an hour, and it was nuts to see like okay, like they're not like some of them aren't don't look down on fans or whatever. They actually will make time for fans to talk to them about whatever they want to. So that was huge.
I'll say that's so cool that you've had those kinds of experience so far. To think what could happen going forward, even.
Oh, I didn't think any of them would respond. And then all of a sudden I get all these responses back and I'm like, hello, senpais, hello.
Jake, well, I didn't think you'd recognize me on the interwebs. Gosh. No,
Yeah.
but that's so cool. And it just goes to show that it all you have to do is take that initiative and take that step because I know there's a lot of people who may feel intimidated by that sort of prospect, but it's
Yeah.
hey, you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
And what was it a podcast sort of deal with the interviews or just little Q&A sessions
No,
at
just
conventions?
little cute. Well, it was just a little Q&A session. Like I had questions for my project that I had to ask them, and then they answered that. Like with Christian Lamont, I think we maybe spent like 20-25 minutes talking over my questions that I had. And then the rest was just me like, can I ask you a few questions about Fire Emblem? And he's like, yeah, hit me. And I'm like, yeah, because he's one of my favorite golden deer and just yeah.
Oh, that's even a bonus too, is when I heard that you're also someone who loves Fire Emblem, I was like, yes, another kindred spirit.
I love Fire Emblem. I started out with Three Houses. I think I've played the game at least 11 times with various different teams.
Okay.
Like I did one that's like solely the house, and so the Black Eagles route with only the Black Eagles was devastating because you have to I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't played the game, but you know what happens. And
Yeah, I
um
all too well.
Oh yeah, I cosplay various characters. I cosplay Bernadetta. I cosplay Lysithia. My grandmother and I actually made her post time skip cosplay together. I
What? That's so
cosplay
cool.
I cosplay Ash, the precious boy from the Blue Lions. I love Ash. So I cosplay a variety of different Fire Emblem characters, mostly just from Three Houses because that's all really I knew at the time. Um, Engage was a little underwhelming, but it's okay. It's just like the anniversary one. So
I feel that though. I I saw the hype for it, but I was kind of like, I don't know. It's
yeah,
seems that it's I respect the direction that it went in, but me personally, I'm like, Three Houses was such a cool way to be introduced into the series. So I'm
mm,
like, it's gonna be hard to top that and make me love characters and grow a connection to each of them as
yeah.
fondly as others.
Yeah, I just thought it was cool to see Sigurd in Engage. I love Sigurd. I feel like he's a very underrated Fire Emblem Lord. So to see him as the main character for Genealogy, the Holy War, I was like, yes, he finally gets some recognition. It's not just Seliph. He finally
I
gets some
was,
recognition.
I
And I
was just
love
gonna
Grant
say
George
that.
too. So I love Grant George as a voice actor. He voices various characters in Danganronpa. He voices various characters in Persona. So to finally see him, in a main Fire Emblem game was very nice to see.
Absolutely. We got to get that representation out there
Oh
for
yeah.
characters and voice actors. So many talented people. Gosh darn it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, do you have any performances, whether it be in a video game, in a movie, in television, any kind of media that to this day sticks with you? Tell me. I gotta know.
Like any kind of performance from anyone, or just like what like like kind of. I'm just trying to understand the question a little bit.
Anybody, any
Anyone.
voice actor in a media where you're like,
Ooh.
oh my gosh.
Mm. Uh I have to give respects to the late Billy Kometz. He was an amazing voice actor, and I loved him. I knew him as Ferdinand von Aegir from Fire Emblem. I recently, I've gotten into Persona, so I knew him as Maruki, and at the end, just I feel like that was one of his best performances ever was in Persona 5. Um, as Maruki, just the amount of passion and energy that you could just feel flowing from his characters. He voiced Naofumi Iwatani from Rising the Shield Hero. He voiced White Blood Cell in Cells at Work. Josuke and JoJo's. Like he has a whole list of characters, and just every aspect that I've seen of him at like panels or whatever. He's just the friendliest guy, and I was crushed when I heard that he had passed away a few years ago. I remember I was like, "Whoa, wow, he's really gone. Like that's nuts." But just definitely, yeah, the Persona 5 Maruki, especially at the end. Just that was I don't know if you've ever played Persona 5 Royal or not. If not, play it. It's great. Uh
You have
um
no idea how many friends have said, you have to play Persona, Spencer. You have no idea. I'm like, okay, are you
yeah,
sure? And they're
I
like,
would
yes.
Yeah, I would recommend Royal, because that's the only version of Persona 5 that Maruki is in because he's an exclusive character to Persona 5 Royal. But then after you get to a certain point when you've unlocked like a certain social bond with him, then you can move on to the special third semester that's not in the vanilla game. And that's when you really see Maruki begin to shine. And it's like, oh my goodness, this is one of the like it's crazy. I don't want to give any spoilers to you because I know you said you want to play it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've played the game at least 3 times now, like because it's so good. And the music's amazing.
I know the feeling that you're going through right now, Mari, of I could see it. I could see it in your eyes of I'm so passionate. I really want to tell you every in and out about it, but I'm like, I hold back.
Yeah, I gotta hold back since you said you never played the game, so I gotta
Yeah.
make sure I don't give any spoilers, especially and to your audience too.
Yeah. You heard it here first, folks. Everyone, Persona 5 is highly recommended.
Oh, it's
So
such a
when you
good
get a
game.
chance for anyone looking for a great experience gaming wise and for storytelling as well, because I've heard the story is killer in those games.
Oh,
Go
it's
check it
great.
out, please. You will not regret it. Super. And that's something that I admire myself is I'm the person in the friend group who I've noticed I'm the one who everyone looks at as like, gosh, she gets so invested into the show and this film. It's because I'm the one I'll be in the corner, I'll be sobbing uncontrollably. They're like, are you okay? I'm like, I really appreciate when you can feel the emotions behind all of these characters. It's
Yeah.
more than just someone reading lines. So, what you had said when you started off doing voiceover a long time ago, that way back in the day, back when all the youngins were coming into the world of
Oh, let me get
technology.
my cane out and I'm like
Yeah. I have to get my walker, so you're doing better than I am. You started off using just a phone and the mic app that was on there, the
yeah.
voice memo app, I
Yeah,
believe that's
that's
what
what
it's
it
called.
yeah.
But nowadays, now that you're doing it full time as a profession, what have you upgraded to? What are your specs?
I wouldn't say I'm full time. Over the 6 or 7 years I've done this, I've only made $70. So I wouldn't say I'm professional. I just have more. fancy equipment because because these days phone recordings won't cut it. A lot of, especially when it comes to bigger projects, they want to have better mics so that they don't have the scratchy audio quality. Because like when I was listening back to my old stuff, I'm like, oh my god, I was so cringe. Oh, it was awful. Um, but after I started booking more. I do a lot of fan projects is what I mostly do. And as I started getting away from just using a smartphone, I went to a USB mic that cost me about $100. But I recorded both of my demos with that said USB mic. I know a lot of people bash on USB mics, but they're actually great. Very affordable. You can start with that. Um, and then I upgraded to a Audio Technica 20 AT 2020 because
The
I got it
stuff.
for a really good price on a Facebook Marketplace. I paid like maybe $75 for a pretty much brand new one. And the only reason I have this one, this is a Rode NT1A. The only reason I have this one is because my friend Sean gave me his hand me down for my birthday, and
It's so cool.
I wanted to buy the mic from him because he upgraded to more studio quality equipment. And then he's like, "Hey, what's your address?" And I'm like, "Why do you want to know that?" And then I gave him my address. And then when I came back from vacation that month, I just saw a huge box on the porch, and I'm like, "Oh," and I just see "from Sean" on it. I'm like, "Oh no." So I opened up the box. Sure enough, mic interface. I'm like, "No, I wanted to buy this from you. I didn't want you to give this to me." But yeah, so this I've been using this for maybe 6 months now. And then I have my other mic, just in case if something happens to this one, but this is my primary mic now.
I know the feel well. This is one that I have for all of my like my podcast purposes and whatnot, the Sennheiser. But I also
That's a
have
fancy
the
mic.
um I got it recommended to me by some friends. They were like, if you want to start out with a good mic for any recording purposes, definitely trust in this. So
Yeah,
it
Sennheisers are
hasn't
good.
failed me
Yeah.
yet. But I do have my my Audio Technica 2020 down over in my booth over there. Um just as backup, just in case
Yeah.
anything happens and technology is like, you know what? I'm feeling it today. Peace out for a little bit. I have
Yeah.
backup, so we're good.
Yeah. You always want to have a backup, which is why when he sent me this, I'm like, "Do you have a backup? What if something happens to your mic?" And he goes, "Oh, I got no backup." I'm like, "This was your backup."
He is living dangerously.
He always lives dangerously. That's just the way he is.
But that's so nice to see that it once again the showcasing of the camaraderie and the support and the care that this community has given you so far is
Oh yeah,
it's
it's fantastic.
so nice to see.
It's fantastic. I mean, like I wouldn't have the friends I have today if it weren't for this. So it's nice.
And could you imagine that many years ago that it would all you'd wind up to this moment of all the people you've met and the experiences you've had, or is this something you're like, how did I get here? What
I mean,
happened?
part of it is how did I get here? Um, because when I started out, I just kind of just did it just for fun. And then I started meeting people, and I'm actually represented by an agency, but that was only because I met someone. If I didn't meet someone, I wouldn't have had the courage to send in my stuff to be considered by an agency. And yeah, I have my really good friend to thank for that. Because he is a local actor over here in Chicago, and he was the one that kind of pushed me to try it and was like, "What if this is a missed opportunity? Just do it." I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." And then about 4 months later, I got the email back saying we want you on the roster. So it's like, you never know. Seize
Sweet.
opportunities.
Sweet. That's rad.
Yeah, seize
And to think,
opportunities.
yeah, hey, take the shot. You never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's stellar, Mari, and it just there's I could tell that there's greatness, even more greatness that's yet to come for you. So I'm stoked to see what you're going to produce going forward.
Thank you. I mean, I'm one of millions that are trying to get into this industry, so
It's like playing Where's Waldo with
yeah,
voice
pretty much.
actors.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whose voice is that? Who are they?
Yeah.
My next question for you is, do you have a preference of the types of projects that you one day wish to take part in? Or do you want to dabble in a little bit of everything?
I mean, my goal is to work for Crunchyroll eventually. Crunchyroll is the anime streaming service, main streaming service. I would love to work for Crunchyroll. I have a lot of friends who work for Crunchyroll, right now, and that wanted to honestly move to Texas, but with my finances right now, I wouldn't be able to afford it. Um, so yeah, that's a big dream of mine is to get into Crunchyroll. Though probably the first step would be, trying to get into Genshin Impact because everyone's in Genshin Impact. I don't play it. I don't play it at all. But I have
You're
a
not
lot of
alone.
friends who are in Genshin Impact. So I'm like, all right, I guess this is where I should start then is trying to get into that game. Um yeah, I guess my expertise is animation and video games. I've tried my hand at ADR, which is, live dubbing. I had a friend who wanted to dub an anime that hadn't come out in English yet. And so I had to basically teach myself how to do ADR. And I just had the English translation captions off to one side and then watching the anime in the other. And, it takes me like an hour to do a 2-minute scene because I'm trying to make sure that the lip flaps match up in every single aspect. So I mean, I've already technically had training in ADR, but like I haven't had professional training, which is probably what I'm gonna.
You've given it your shot all on your own, and that's more than enough of then that's awesome.
Thank you.
And I could totally believe that doing a 2 minute scene is an hour or plus in the booth of getting it just right and nailing the lines.
Oh
I
yeah,
can believe that.
even with I do a lot of fan dubs. I know fan dubs are looked down upon because of the whole
Not
copyright
here.
issues when it comes
I
to
love,
fan dubs.
I love
But
them.
even doing fan dubs, it takes me so long because I don't have that quick of a memory. So like I'll have like a quick line and then I'll go to the blank scene and I'm pressing the record button. I'm like, wait, what's my line again? How do I say this? What is it? And I'm like trying to peer around my giant big pop filter, like, what's the line again? So yeah, even when I have the line, I'm hearing the original voice in my headphones and I'm like, what was it again? What did she say? So even with basics, like really the only times I don't have problems is the comic dubs where it's just words and you're just like, okay, I just have to read the words and we'll be fine.
And it's since you brought that up, the hearing the original voice of how it's read or the likes of that, how the original scene, perhaps even with acting when you watch it, because I know that a lot of directors say do not watch the original because then it'll mess up what your perception of this character is to you, and you'll
Mm-hmm.
try to replicate rather than create, if
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Have you ever had those experiences doing any project of
Uh, well, I think with the fan dub I was talking about with the anime that hadn't been dubbed in English yet, I went based off of the Japanese voice. Like I went a little higher pitch than my normal voice. And then once it was dubbed in English, the English voice actor was a lot lower, which I found, kind of like, whoa, okay, they went a completely different approach with this. I thought she was going to be a higher pitched voice. And all of a sudden I hear it and it's like my speaking voice kind of level. And I'm like, whoa, hello, okay, this is interesting. But Because a lot of times, especially, I do a lot of boy voices, so like, your typical anime protagonist boy voice. Um, I can't hold that for a long period of time like some of these voice actors can. So eventually, you'll hear my voice high, normal, and then just as time goes on, you just hear it slowly getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And then that's when I get to the point of like, okay, I'm done. I gotta make this my own, and I just gotta work with it because, I'm trying to record for this long thing, and I can't keep the same voice for several days on end. So I'm like, okay, I gotta do some kind of voice where I can keep it going for a couple hours without losing it. So that's a big thing, is making sure that I can get to the right pitch where it sounds decent, but then you can hold it for a long time.
The age-old struggle of you have this perfect voice that you've created for a character in your head. You're like, this is exactly how I envision it. Then you get to the mic, and about 10 minutes go by, and you're like, oh no, I can't do it much longer.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
terrible.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gotta love the authentic voice actor experience. Isn't it great, everybody?
Why did my camera suddenly go? Whoa, okay. What just happened? Did you do something? What just happened?
I, I totally I did not do a thing.
What
I
was
could
that? What
I
was
have no idea. It was almost like Zoom was like, congratulations, you're a voice actor. Isn't it fun? The
like
confetti and
going?
everything.
I was
That
like, wait,
was
why did it go down? Oh, hello.
uh-oh, I'm fading to black. Oh, pretty lights.
Oh, there's confetti falling down.
Oh, is there, because I know that you've talked about you've done cosplay before. Is how in the world did you find your passion to bring those characters to life? Because I, for one, it looks like so much fun to do, but it's also like, how do I do that? That's a lot. So how
Yeah,
the heck did you do it, Mari?
I started back in 2015. I was really big into Star Wars. I did my own OCs. Literally, I would just throw on like a blank t-shirt and then put jeans over my shoulders to act as like the Jedi robes. Like that's how I really started, was just doing stupid closet cosplays like that. And then I started watching more anime and playing more video games, because I was a little sheltered as a kid. So then I started, watching anime, watching other stuff. I'm like, oh, I want to be this character. I want to try cosplaying this character. And then I started buying cosplays off of Amazon. And I had no idea how to style wigs. So I would just throw the wigs on. I didn't know what the heck to do with them. And
That's a
and
different beast entirely.
oh yeah. And I, was trying to cosplay characters from anime that I had seen who don't have official cosplays. So I was trying to make my own cosplays. I painted a jacket once and it looked horrible, but I went with it. Uh, and then, I started learning, okay, here's how you cut bangs, or at least not, but just to make it look okay rather than having one side being super long, one side being really super short. So then I learned how to cut the bangs to my exact, forehead shape. Um, and then I started cosplaying more official characters, people like Lysithia and Bernadetta and Ash and a lot of characters from Danganronpa. I like cosplaying Danganronpa. Peko Pekoyama from the second game is one of my comfort characters. Um
My
and I
favorite
love
of the three. No,
I
no, no bias or whatever, but no, no, Super Danganronpa 2 is
Yeah, I
so good.
remember when I first cosplayed Chiaki on TikTok. That was when my account really started blowing up. I was only at like 700 followers, maybe. And then I gained like 200 followers in the span of like a week. And I'm like, where'd you all come from? I'm just cosplaying Chiaki. I didn't think this was a big deal. And then I cosplayed Sonia next. And then my account just blew up. And I was like, and I hit over 1,000 followers. And I was like, oh my gosh, after 4 years of having this account, I finally hit 1,000 followers. And then I started cosplaying more Danganronpa characters. Like I've done Maki. Maki is one of my favorites because I relate to her a lot. I've done Kyoko Kirigiri. That was my most recent one from the first game. I've cosplayed Samugi once. Though I need to fix um, and then uh and then I started cosplaying Persona because I had gotten into Persona. So I really relate to Futaba, and especially because she has glasses. I can finally actually wear my glasses for a cosplay instead of like looking weird having glasses for a character that doesn't have them. Um so I started cosplaying Futaba, and I cosplayed it at a con with my friend as Joker, and that really took off because of the iconic duo. And I think that's really all I've really cosplayed so far. I've tried cosplaying Mitsuru from Persona 3. The new remake just came out a couple days ago. She's the leader of the group. I love her. She's Tara Platt and Allegra Clark. Like, come on, amazing.
Another icon
Uh,
in as a voice actor. I love her.
I love both of them. And just you know, uh, I have all these cosplays, but the thing is, I have limited money. There's something called money that
Dang
we need
it.
to put into account here. So I'm trying to get, the cheapest cosplays I can, but that have decent enough quality that they're not falling apart at the seam. You know, and the only reason why my grandmother and I made my Lysithia cosplay together was because there was one online, sure, for $100, but it looked like crap. And we're like, no, we don't want this. So my grandmother taught me how to sew as we were making this cosplay. And it was an amazing experience to be able to learn how to sew and how to, put everything together. I mean, I didn't do a lot of it because we were on vacation for half of it, but here's my Lysithia.
Oh dang. Okay.
So we made that together. My friend 3D printed all the gold pieces on it. And then I just added all the accessories and it looked great. And I went to a con with it. And now I'm going to another con with it with my friend dressed as Barbarossa Claude.
Oh
Like
my gosh.
not just the post time skip, but like the actual, the Barbarossa where he's, in his ultimate outfit, which is crazy. And we're actually going to meet up at a con and try to do a photo shoot together because this cosplay just looks amazing. And I'm like, why am I your friend? How am I your friend?
I
Uh,
have a lot of moments myself. It's like, why do you stick around this long? You put up with all the stuff that I do.
yeah,
But
yeah,
that's what friends they have fun together, and
yeah.
that right there is
Since you know Three Houses, here's his Barbarossa Claude.
all right. Now the two of you are like out here flexing on your cosplays. That is sick.
Yeah, it takes a lot of effort, which is something I don't really like to do. So that's why I buy a lot of store bought cosplays and then just kind of throw it on.
I personally think I number one, the editing that you had for that Lysithia video was on point and very in character for her, but also the quality of it was very professional. And had you not told me that, oh, I made this together with my grandma and we just threw it together, I would have been like, did you like win the lottery here in cosplay? Because that came out amazing,
No,
especially with all
yeah.
the ornaments. That was quality work. So hats off to
Oh,
you
you
and your
should you
grandma.
should see a lot of these other cosplayers, who are winning competitions. Some of them are full-time cosplayers who make money from cosplays. They'll judge competitions or they'll sell their own patterns or things like that. So I'm just amateur, like in comparison. I just throw things together. I'm like, I don't even wear makeup for any of it because I don't like touching my face. So I don't even wear makeup for any of these. So like I don't wear like contacts or anything. So I'm just here, just my normal face and then whatever I throw on.
And that's all it needs. It to top it off, it needs your authentic personality, your authentic personality.
Why
Here
is
it comes
this
again. Here it comes
happening?
again, Betty.
I'm
There it
so confused. Why is this happening? I'm not touching anything. My hands are right here. What is
is.
going on?
I I I kid you not. I have not touched a thing or waved a magic wand of any kind.
Is
It
someone
just
else in
seems
this chat or something? Like, what's going on?
it it seems Zoom is just the bystander, like This needs an extra bit of flair for a moment. For a moment, so let me just throw some confetti over Mari. What is because that me personally, I know that I've explained to my family a lot of what they know what voice acting is, kind of. They just know that
Mhm.
I talk behind a microphone and make silly
Yeah.
silly noises for a couple hours a day.
Yeah.
But what's your family's response to all this incredible stuff that you've been working on and doing?
I mean,
They've got to be
yeah.
impressed.
Honestly, at the beginning, I was gonna be a nurse. That's what I wanted. That's what I went to school for, and just all the science classes just burned me out. So I was like, I want to do something else. I've been doing this for a while. I kind of when I started, I kind of did everything behind their backs, honestly, because they didn't know, that I was buying this expensive equipment, and I had this set up in my closet out of sight where they couldn't see it, and I just I would record when they weren't home. And but when I said I wanted to try to get represented by an agency, they're like, why? Like, what are you, what's going on? And I told them, I have all this stuff and I have demo reels made. And they're like, all right, well, if this is what you want to do, go ahead. We're not stopping you. You're an adult. You can do whatever you want. Um, so now that, now it's not that uncommon that, I'm like, hey, I'm going to go up and record. So if you hear me screaming for like 5 minutes, you know why. And, or if you hear me yelling at the top of my lungs, you know why. um,
Don't
but
call anyone. I'm not in danger.
I
Just my
know, right?
character.
I know. I want to like make a sign on my door that says like recording in progress. Do not panic or something like that.
I I do have outside in my space. I do have an on-air sign that when I'm in here, I'm like, just so you know, if you come on up and you see this light on, you know it's good, fam. You know it's good.
Yeah. Especially when I got represented, it's like, whoa. Like, okay, all right, you're gonna have to work extra hard now. I'm like, I got you.
Yay, adulting. But this is fun
Adulting.
adulting.
I don't know if you can see my shirt. It says voice actor. I spend all day in a padded room talking to myself and I get paid for it.
Dang, I need to find where that shirt is. You got to give me
Amazon.
the down low.
Amazon. Amazon.
Of course.
Yeah, so every time I go to cons with my friends, like this year when we went, we got a shirt that said eat, sleep, record, repeat, except the eat and sleep are crossed out. So it's just record and repeat. So every time we go to a con together, we always get some form of voice acting shirt to wear when we're not in cosplay. So
It's great memorabilia to have to be like, you remember the vibes of that con?
oh yeah.
Yeah. I look back at that shirt and I remember it just like it was yesterday.
Pretty much, yeah.
What else do voice actors do except hyper focus on their lines and to record a character for like 5 hours a day?
And you just want to like throw your computer out the window when you've like messed up on the line for the 10th time. Like, out.
My control Z hotkeys are sobbing. Stop doing this to us.
Yeah.
Oh man, but that's so cool how it that just goes to show how we all grow and change over time because I know especially we're both in our early 20s and we may think it's like I don't know that much I don't think it's changed. Still a goofball. So it's changed, but using that as a perspective to be like you went from being a nursing major to now you do voice acting. That's a wild trip.
Yeah, and if I had gone on, I probably would have had a pretty promising career, but I just couldn't handle, I had to take anatomy and physiology and I had to take 2 semesters of that, and by the end I was like, oh, like can we just like that was the only class I took those 2 semesters because it's such a hard class. And that's the kind of classes, that weed out the people that aren't really that dedicated. And I somehow passed those classes. And then that was the point where I was like, okay, I'll just continue on, get my degree, get my associates, and then move on because I cannot take this anymore. And then ever since then, I've been taking a lot of acting classes at my community college. I took a diction class last semester to help with my speech, and to help, because diction is important when it comes to voice acting. You want to make sure all your consonants sound crisp and be able to be heard properly. So I took a class just solely for diction, learning how to say words properly that I say normally, but then it sounds like, my L's sound like a W to people or sound like an R. So it's like, oh my goodness. All right. I'm gonna have to fix some things here. So
you're you're making me think more about this than I should.
I know, yeah, pretty much.
What's real anymore? I can relate though. I remember myself many uh ish years ago. I'd say I was about halfway through high school myself, where one of my directors, I always was involved in any theater show all throughout middle school, high school, whether it be stage plays or musicals, I was in. I was going to do it. But I remember at one point my director came up to me at a rehearsal and they're like, you know what, Spencer? You're great at what you do, but I don't know. I think the way that you speak, I had a list for the longest time with all my S's.
Mhm.
So it would always sound like this kind of deal.
Yeah.
And they're like, if you really want to be serious about this, then I think you're going to need to have some work done to to do that.
Yeah.
So lo and behold, I went to have like speech therapy done, and vigorously uh-oh, I'm not making a good case here. It's messing up on my S's. I was vigorously trained how to change the way that I said my S's and spoke as a whole. And
Mhm.
it's kind of kind of wild to think, uh, all of this to do acting was worthy sacrifice. Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, so let's see here, Mari. Let's kind of wrap things up for the evening because this has been an awesome conversation. And definitely I'm gonna have to at one point have you come back on for another episode because you're so vibrant and energetic and the show needs your kind of personality on here. So
Thank you.
you're
I
killing it
appreciate
tonight. I love
it.
it.
Thank you.
So where can people find you and your work primarily on the internet, social media?
I am everywhere. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Twitter or X. I'm still calling it Twitter. I don't care. It's Twitter.
Ditto.
um,
Ditto.
I'm on, X. I'm on YouTube. I post a lot of just random stuff on YouTube. I post a lot of my cosplay content on TikTok. That's where I got most of my following was through my cosplays. I have a website, MariSkyVA.card, spelled CARRD.co. You can find all my socials there, as well as, all my testimonials or whatever. I'm not gonna plug myself. um
No, I give you full reign. Plug yourself, darn it.
yeah, I'm on Casting Call Club. I make my own projects. If I just have some random dub I want to do, I'll post something on there. Be like, hey, I need this many male sounding voice actors. Needs this many female sounding voice actors. Go. Wait. um, but yeah, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, casting call. I'm everywhere with the same name, MariSkyVA, MariSkyVA. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Well, you've got a lot to work with here, folks. I don't know what you're doing all sitting around just watching us. Like, go find her stuff. Support her for goodness sakes. You have a lot to work with here. MariSkyVA. I mean, come on. It's she's practically a legend in the making already.
Nah, nah, you flatter me.
All right, and one last thing before we officially say our goodbyes for tonight, Mari. What is something that you some words of advice that you have to offer for others who are aspiring to be voice actors, to make a splash in the business, to get involved? What are some words of advice for them?
Oh, I could go on with this for an hour. I think the big thing I've learned after taking classes and after taking even Joe Zijas, who voiced Claude, he has his own voice acting academy that I've taken, that I've enrolled in. I think the biggest thing when it comes to voiceover is have fun. If you don't have fun, if you're just constantly pushing auditions through, doing, hundreds of auditions a day, it's just any old day job. It just becomes a day job. So you want to love what you do. I love what I do. I make friends. I goof around with my friends, voicing random crap, doing random abridges, whatever. But as long as you can sit in the booth, listen to a blooper of yourself and just burst out laughing, that's when you know, okay, I'm having fun with this. Because, like I said, if you're just doing it for the money, you can't just do it for the money. You know, any like voiceover or any acting industry is very, very competitive and very, very hard to get into. I was, blessed and fortunate enough to be able to be accepted by an agency, but that took maybe, I think I messaged 8 other agencies who all said no or just ignored me. It was just that one that finally said, "Oh, we want you on our roster." You know, seize opportunities when you can, um but I will say when it comes to online casting calls, check who the director is, make sure they're credible. I worked with one who was a 14-year-old and I was, 18, and I'm like, yeah, no, yeah, no, no, thank you. I'm an adult working with a minor. This is not going to work out. And then we ended up getting to a fight and they completely banned me from the project. So I'm like, all right, woohoo. Um,
Hey.
but check the credibility, um, and just be yourself. I guess is the main thing as well, because you're trying to be all these characters that you're not. But you want to add that, like you said earlier, you want to add that special little flair that's yours and yours only, which is something I struggle with, especially with fan dubs when you're trying to, you know, kind of mimic the original voice, but you don't add in that extra flair, which is something my friend brought up when I sent him a most recent fan dub. He's like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't think about that. I just wanted to get that thing done."
I
um,
love the honesty on both ends. Where is your most authentic self, Mari? I was just kind of doing it at the time.
yeah, I was like,
Love you though.
I put this off for like 2 months. I just got to get this done. All right, let's just finish this up and be done. So yeah, I guess have fun, check credibility. Credibility is very important. I will share one more story. I was kind of recruited by this company over in Italy, they claimed. And, they were giving me pretty promising rates, like they accepted my rates or whatever, even they were promising to pay a little more. And then they gave me the script and I looked at it. I'm like, this is just a blatant copy of Spider-Man. Like you just took the story of Spider-Man and just changed, the characters' names and designs, and even the designs looked like Spider-Man. And I'm like, listen, if you want to do this, you got to make sure that you're not blatantly copying another storyline. And they're like, no, we're not copying the storyline. I'm like literally highlighting all the different points in the story of like, this is Spider-Man. This is Spider-Man. He has a web shooter. This is Spider-Man. He's climbing on the walls. This is Spider-Man. And I actually had to quit because I was like, you're saying, these once the movie's done, it'll be in theaters in Italy or whatever. But if you guys get into a copyright war with Marvel and Disney, I do not want to be a part of that. I do not want to have anything to do with that. So I left. Even it sounded promising, they were gonna give it or whatever. But once, I read through that and the fact that they were arguing with me about it as well, trying to make them seem like they were right and I was wrong, you know, you see the true colors of the director. And if they're demanding too much of you, or if, they want lines in a week and suddenly, like, I was on vacation once and I told the director, hey, I'm going to be gone for this period of time. Either send me the lines now or I'll do it when I get back because I'm not going to have access to this. And they're like, okay. And they're like, a week into my vacation, they're like, hey, where are the lines? I'm like, I told you, I'm going to be gone for this long. And then they recast me soon after because they're like, we need these lines now.
Brother.
And I'm like, I told you to give it to me earlier. So make sure that the directors treat you fairly. That's another big thing. If they don't treat you fairly, if they don't take your mental health as a priority, cut ties as soon as you can. So have fun, prioritize your mental health and your physical health above all things. You don't want to get sick or have a sore throat or lose your voice when you're doing this because I've done that before and I hate it.
Oh,
Uh,
gee. Oh, gosh.
um, you know, don't overwork yourself. Know your limits. Uh, I have a lot. I have a lot. But yeah, just above all, have fun. Make this to something that you want to do, that you want to get out of bed, hop into the booth, and be like, all right, I'm gonna get stuff done today. Instead of, like, all right, time to do another 100 auditions, and probably won't book anything, but we're gonna just do it so because I need the money. Don't do it because of the money. you
Totally.
you voice actors get paid next to nothing compared to like actual, on-screen actors, even famous actors. Anime I know doesn't make that much money, unless you're a big, big, big name in the industry, you're not really gonna make that much money. So if it's about the money, don't do it. Do not do it if you're concerned about money. Because I mean, like I said before, I've only made $70 in the 6 years that I've done this. So if you want to make this into your living, yeah, you're gonna need a second job like I do.
Ditto. But look at us, so fun folks. We're out here, long days, long nights, but we're having fun, and that's what it's all about here. And those are some awesome points, Mari. I for sure I admire a lot of the courage that it took for a lot of those experiences because I know it's not easy, um especially when you're fresh to the business to be like, oh, do I want to go against someone and say no? But you put yourself and your worth before cash, and that's very respectable of you. So hats off to you and a round of applause as well.
Where's the confetti right now?
I know. I was like, dang it, Zoom, you missed your cue. If it went off now, I think I would fall out of this chair laughing.
No? Okay.
Almost. For a second I thought we almost had it.
Uh unfortunately no. Doesn't look like it's not gonna give me anything. It's okay.
Well, I believe that just about covers all bases. Did you have any more final words before we head on out for tonight, Mari?
Thank you again for having me. This is an amazing opportunity to be able to do something like this, especially since I'm the one special. I'm just a normal human being who's trying to get into this industry. It's not like I'm, Matt Mercer or Alejandro Saab or people like that who, if you get into an interview with them, they're like, like, oh my gosh, it's you. I'm nobody. I'm
A
I'm
lump in
just
my throat.
I'm just one of millions, trying to do this, and you know, maybe I'll get in, maybe I won't. If I'm, trying not to be too overly optimistic, but like, but I'm just a content creator on YouTube and TikTok. Like, I don't even have that much of a following either. So it's like, I am honored that you would let me on the show, especially because of the fact that I'm kind of small compared to a lot of other people.
I'm so, I'm so glad to have you on. To me, it doesn't matter how large of a following or notoriety that someone may have. My whole purpose of the show is to bring authenticity and human experiences to the table and to make others feel as though they're not alone in this world, that there's a chance that they have the power to do something. And your story tonight is one that I know that it'll touch a lot of hearts out there and it'll lift people up. So thank you so, so much for sharing everything with us. It was awesome.
Thank you. Now I'm probably gonna get to recording stuff that I haven't. Oh, well, okay.
Oh my God. How
Okay.
did you
So I
do
think
that?
it's just like certain. Yeah, there it is. So I must have done something with this that caused the Zoom to do something. Because every single time I do this now. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. That's why it was going off. Okay. So it was
Now,
some motion that I did that caused the confetti to go. What did I do? Did I do
now,
something like this? I don't
now we know that not only are you a voice actor, but you're also a magician as well. Like, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause, please.
know.
That's some awesome stuff here. But
But
of
yeah,
course,
thank you again for having me on the show. It means a lot.
yeah, of course, Mari. And again, I'd love to have you on again at some point. It was awesome to have you here and get to chat and to meet you because my gosh, this was a lot of fun. We started off a few little nervous behind the microphone, but now this is a blast.
Yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, please, seriously, round of applause for Mari, please. She's awesome, right? I mean, come on. She's
Thank
got the
you.
charisma, she's got the smile, she's got the drive to make this happen. And so can you
Oh, well,
too.
there we go.
Hooray! We got one more
I think it's
Betty in.
yeah, it's the double thumbs up that causes
Yeah.
this. Okay. Well, now we know. The more you know.
We're learning some life hacks as with Mari too on Are You Saurious episode 4. What could be better?
Should I get into the ASMR?
that
What's the ASMR?
that'll have to be for our next episode, an entirely ASMR episode.
Oh my god. I don't know. I hate ASMR, so I'd be like, oh.
Great challenge. But of course, until next time, everybody, stay scaly and have a good night.